Okay, so please let me know if you can see my screen. My screen is
Yes, we
visible?
can. Yes, we
Okay,
can.
fine. So in today's class, we will be learning about the basics of formula. We will be learning the structure of the formula actually from the very beginning, the components of the formula. And we have almost different seven types of different formulas. So these formulas are very important to learn. It These formulas are, a part of our routine work. So I would appreciate if you go through all these formulas. I'll be sharing the files as well for the practice and the assignment, and also I will be sharing a book on these formulas, so you can remember, you can take help from that book. So we will be starting from the basics of formula for in today's first in the beginning of this class. So let me share the Excel file with you. I hope you can see my Excel file. So in Excel, there are three type of structures of the formula. You can write formula in Excel or you can apply formula in Excel by three different ways. So the first way is you go to this formula bar and for example, if I mention 2, 4, 6, 8 different numbers, and if I want to calculate all these numbers, so there are different type of formulas. In the formulas section, you can see the menu tab, and there are different type of formula library, and you see the directory or category of this formula library. This is called function library. So if you want to work on financial formulas, you will be clicking here. There is a list of financial formulas. You can apply anything: logical formulas, text formulas, date, lookup, maths, and other many more functions are there. So if you want to apply, the function, simple formula on these numbers, what I have already mentioned on the screen. So there is a very simple way. By using this button auto sum, you can simply click on this. So you see there is, answer is there. Also, if I copy this number to the next row, next column, and if I want to apply any other operation from this formula, like average or maximum or count numbers, so you simply click on this and you will get the answer. So here is the average in the second column. There is another way. This is just a simple shortcut, and you can apply this formula from here as well. This shortcut is also there. You see, I'm copying these numbers at the below this range, and you can find the shortcut on the home menu. In this editing category, you can see my cursor on the top of this file. So here is a summation sign, you can see. So the same formula structures are there. Actually, this is a shortcut. And if you go to the formula, there is a, part of the library. So the same functions are there. But there is a manual way as well. That is what I say, a quite time taking, or, uh, or you can say the very basic way of calculating the formula. For example, if I want to apply sum on these functions, I'll be clicking on this insert functions. This is very basic way of applying formula. So if I want to apply some function on these selected number, I'll be searching the formula here. If I need some, so I'll be searching sum here, and I'm mentioning the sum in this box, in the search box, and I click go. So as you click on this go option, you will find all formulas related to sum. For example, sum simple, sum if, sum ifs, sum product. So sum x to my to. So there are number of formulas are there. So if you click on this sum function, here you will see this kind of window. So this is very basic way of calculating anything. So there are two options. If you and you select the entire range, and you will be clicking on this, and the range is there. You will be pressing OK. The, something is wrong here. So let's say again, just showing you another way. Sum is there. Simply click on this. You already have, mentioned the numbers here. Let's say if you mention 4 in this formula, you see I'm mentioning manually to give you an idea how it works. And I'm also mentioning number 2, 6, again 8. As I'm clicking on the last bar of this formula directory, an other bar is also added automatically. As you see, I'm mentioning 10. So you give 4, 5, or 6 different numbers and press OK, and you will see the 28 answer is there. So if you see this formula bar, so the numbers are the same what I mentioned manually in the directory or insert function by this box. So you will find the different, you will find the answer here in this box. But this is, very lengthy process. If you start working like this way, so a lot of time will be wasted, or that's not the purpose of using Excel, because Excel is all about smart work. So let's say I'm removing all these things. I'm cleaning this. I'm done from this formula directory. We are not going to use these kind of things from here. So there are some shortcuts. How these shortcuts works? For example, we will be learning about the operators of the formulas. This is a very basic things. One thing, you can use this Excel like calculator to find your things, to find the answers. For example, and there are 4, 5, 6, or 8 different numbers. And if you want to use these operators for your formula, so there is very simple way. This is a second technique or second way of calculating things. Just like calculator, you start formula with this is equal to sign. Click on this, and there are two ways now. If you want to add all numbers one by one, so you see, I'm pressing plus sign, I'm entering plus sign between the numbers, and I'm selecting all these things. This is another technique. The answer is there. But there is another way, which we call the, formula composition. For example, if I click on this cell and I mention some formula like manually, which you see, I think, in routine. So there is another way to find the formulas, like press sum, and I'm pressing the tab button to start the formula, part, and the bracket sign is there. I'm selecting all these numbers, and my formula is complete, and as I press enter, so there is an answer. So answer is the same, but two different way with two different ways. So this is like using a calculator, plus sign, plus sign, plus sign. You are giving information manually. And this is another way. You given the command like is equal to sum function, and you selected the range instead of pressing 1 1 1 1 1. You are just giving the range in this formula, and the answer is there. So we will be working on this kind of technique throughout the formula. So we have a number of files. We will be applying all these kind of formulas in today's and next class. So I hope you got the idea of composition of your formula. One, go to formula library, and you will find a very, traditional way of calculating things from this library. You will be selecting the formula, you'll be giving the range, or manually you'll be entering the values in the given box, and your answer will be there. Second, using the shortcut, but these shortcuts are, very limited formulas, 4 or 5 functions. Third, you will be using these operators. We call it operator. If I, highlight these operators, you see this is are called the sorry, these uh, signs are called operators, just like calculator. Okay, so this is another way. So now what I'm going to do, I'm quickly performing these characters, these operators, just to give you an introduction of this operator, and then we will be starting working on these files. These files are easy to understand, and we will be working on different formulas. So let me quickly go through all these operators. Just like calculator, you can use this. For example, if you want to add something, just like I did just while ago. For example, if you want to add any two numbers like these 2 and 4, simply you will be clicking plus sign. So for example, 2 plus 4, and the answer is 6. But if you want to subtract two numbers, you will be pressing this minus sign, you will be entering minus sign. So for example, you want to subtract two numbers like 8 minus 4. So just like a very simple math, you just putting the operator sign between two numbers and the answer will be there. So if you want to multiply any two numbers in Excel, so you will be, applying Excel, you will be performing calculations for multiplication by using steric sign. For example, if I want to multiply 2 with 5, the operator will be like steric sign between two numbers. And if you want to divide something, let's say I want to divide 8 by 4. So you see in this formula, I'm using two different things. One, E5 reference. I'm not entering the number itself. I'm just giving the reference of the cell. And after the minus sign, sorry, divide, after the slash or divide sign, I'm entering the value by number, not giving the reference again from here. So it will work. So you see, one reference, one number. So similarly, if you want to apply exponential, so simply you will be clicking here. It's just like taking power of any number. So for example, if I mention 2 and I want to take the power of this 2 by 5, so you see here is a sign like this. So the answer is like this. Concatenation. If you want to add two different numbers in the same cell, if you are just combining two different numbers in the same cell, you will be applying this technique, concatenation. You can apply this concatenation on words or numbers or anything. For example, if I mention concatenation formula, concatenate is the formula actually, and I want to add 6 and 8, 6 and 8, and you will see the answer. This will be mentioning like this 6, 6, 8. Actually, it's not calculating anything, it's combining the things, 6 and 8. If you want to check two different numbers, you will be applying. Now these formulas are more like logical formulas. Let me highlight in different colors. So this green portion is more about logical formulas. For example, if you want to check whether this formula, this number is equal to this or not, I'm mentioning two different numbers with the reference sign. So this will tell me whether it's true or not. Remember, all these formulas will be giving answer in words, true or false, true or false. It will not give you answer in, numbers. So you see false. We understand 6 is not equal to 2. Again, another operator greater than. Let's say if I check whether this number is greater than this number, so what would be the answer in logical formula in these operator using the operator like this? True. So we know that 6 is always greater than the true. But what if I mention here 3 is greater than 4? So the answer should be false. We know that 3 cannot be greater than 4. So similarly, if we want to know whether 6 is less than 2, so we know this is not possible. So the answer will be false. Greater than or equal to is the same kind of statement. And for example, if we want to check whether 6 is greater than and equal to, sorry, we will be start the formula by is equal to sign and we'll mentioning like this. And now we are pressing the formula like this, equal to and greater than or equal to is the same thing. So you see, true. We know that 6 is greater than and equal to 2. The second last, for example, if we want to check whether 2 is greater than or is equal to, sorry, 2 is less than or is equal to 8. So the answer will be true. We know that not equal to. So let's say we want to mention like this, 10 is not equal to 6. So answer is true. So why we need these logics when we will be using logical formulas in Excel at advanced level, we need to, use these kind of operators. We will be using it in practically when we'll be working on logical side. So basically this sheet is all about giving you the concept of how Excel performs formula in different ways. So one last thing, why we use these equal to sign practically, how we can, do it practically. For example, you have collected some household survey data, and when you compile the data by, from the application, or when you enter all the household information, you want to check and you assign actually value as, household identity or unique number to every formula. So let's say you have collected data from 100 households, and here is a sequence like this. Uh, Let me, drag it more. So let's say you have household information and you have compiled information of 100 households, and you want to check whether is there any duplication or some number is missing when you have compiled all the forms, all the information. Let's say mistakenly there is some number which is 16, 26. Maybe mistakenly I marked 26 number uh, mistakenly, and some number is missing, or maybe I missed 20 in the formula and I mentioned here something like this. You can say 33. Okay. So this is the column. This is the number you extracted from the database where you have compiled all the information of your households survey. I ask Excel to generate a sequence number. Sorry, 1, 2, 3. I asked Excel to generate a sequence number for me. So you see, this is Excel generated number. This is my database number. Let's say database. So two different serial numbers. And being a data analyst, I want to check whether, and the number in thousands, maybe 5,000 or 50,000 households information. I want to check whether is there any household missing in my data. So what technique I will be applying? I will be mentioning database number, and I'll be mentioning this Excel generated number, and with this equal to formula, and I'll be checking whether it's true or not. So if I double click on this, you will see there are some numbers which are false, which means if these if there is false, it means that household is missing. Actually, it should have been, 16, but this is not 16 in the sequence. And it means I need to double check whether the form number 16 is missing or not. Similarly, if I check the other false number and I'll see there is not 20 household number mentioned in my sequence, so something is wrong with this number, or maybe mistakenly there is some typo error and 26 is mentioned on the form mistakenly, something like this. So why we use this equal to sign? I hope you got the idea why we use these operators. And there are a number of applications of these operators when we work practically on, Excel, when we deal with large data sets. So you can apply all this command. So might be this section is boring for you, but this is important to explain you the basics, the structures of the formula. So I hope you got the idea how it works, how we start this applying the formula. So now I am closing this file. If you have any question related to these operators, you can ask now. Otherwise, I move on to the next file, which is actual or mathematical formulas section. So please let me know. Should I move on?
Yes, I think yes.
Okay, so all clear, I hope so. So let me close this file. I'll be sharing all these files with you. So one thing, you don't need to remember any formula. Just see what's happening. I'll be sharing the files. I'll be sharing the book with you for your help, for your assistance. So this is first kind of formula we'll be working on. So if you see the title, these are math formulas. So in each sheet, you will be seeing different kind of, application of mathematical formulas. So we will be go through all the files. I'll be trying to I'll try to explain quickly all the categories. So if you see on each sheet, you will be seeing the, one line definition of the formula. What does this formula do? So for example, this is integer number. Integer is a whole number. You see, if you see the definition, rounds a number down to the nearest number. So for example, if you have number in your data like this 12 or 12.9, some values like this, and you want to convert this decimal into a number. So there is a formula like integer formula. For example, if I click here in the result section, and if I want to apply integer formula, int, so you see, I'll be clicking on this 12 and the answer will be like 12. Yes, because 12 is already integer formula, integer number, so the answer will be the same. But what if you click on this 12.9? If you apply this formula and you have series like these numbers, so what would be the answer? Integer. And we will be seeing what Excel will do this with this 12.9. So you see the formula. Integer basically does not round off the number, but actually it removes the decimal and give you a solid number, a whole number. So you see, we applied the formula on two different numbers, 12 itself and 12.9. So what did it do? Actually, it converted the number into a, the nearest number, 12. So similarly, there is a mod formula. Mod formula returns the remainder of the equation, just like we used to perform in the divided division question. When you perform, like, Simon, just 1 minute, I come back to you. So let's say if you want to divide these two numbers by using mod, so it will give you a remainder. For example, there are two numbers. I apply mod function on these two numbers. So let's say if I mention this, and uh, as you start applying any equation, any formula, Excel guides you accordingly. For example, there are two portions or two components of the formula. So Excel is guiding me what to mention next. So I have mentioned the number A2, and now I have to give the divisor. I want to divide this 10 with 3. So you can either mention by 3, or you can either give the reference of this formula, and the answer will be like this. So if you divide 3 by 10, the answer will be 1, the remainder actually. So for example, if we apply the same thing on 3.2 mode, uh, like 3 or and 2, we are giving two numbers in this formula for another example, so the answer will be the same. So in both cases you will getting the same answer. Yes, I'm you wanted to ask something?
Just 1 minute. जी ये बताएं कि ये जो integer है, sorry, do I speak in English? We were rounding off 12.9 to the nearest
Yes.
integer. So shouldn't it be 13?
Yes, actually, when we apply this number, so actually it's removing the decimal part. It's actually not you say rounding off. If you go to the round section, we will be seeing there in round section, actually it convert to the next number, but in integer part, it is, not, giving to the next number, not giving the answer like to the next number, but actually it's removing the decimal part. The answer is the same. We have checked it. For example, if we let's say change the number, let me mention here 12.95, let's say, and other example, and we see what it does with this number integer. So this actually is near to 13, but actually the answer will be, like, I'm sorry, what happened? Uh, integer. Like, what happened? Why it's not fucking like this? So let me do it here. Integer 12.95. So you see, it is just, removing the fraction or the decimal part. The integer, actually it converted to a whole number. It's not rounding off the value.
Okay, thank you.
So this rand function is very useful. I hope if you have studied statistics, you must be familiar with this term, or you have applied this rand function in Excel somewhere. When you need random numbers for any kind of experiments in Excel. Yes, Asiya?
Can we have a bit more examples with the mod function?
Yes, mode is, very common, very, maths related equation. So if you give me any number, I can apply here. I have already applied, these two examples. So for example, actually it gives you the remainder of any number you divide with any number. So for example, we have two different numbers, let's say 20 and let's say 13, two different numbers, and we want to check what is the remainder of what is the mode of this, equation, these given numbers. So let's say mode, you will be
So
calculating this
there are
20.
two things over here. One is number and other is divisor. What does this number means?
Number means the number you want to divide any number. For example, you are calculating any number 20, 50, 100, 180, any number you want to divide by any divisor. So if you remember you have done this, equation in the school time, we also did this, by there is a sign like this. Let me mention here. To perform this, you might have done this equation like this in school. So let's say it's 20 and up you divide this 20 by 3. So here will be answer. Here will be the answer, 6 and 18. Like this, the remainder is 2. You got the idea? So
G.
this mode is for this kind of equation. Actually, this is a mathematical formation. So I hope you by this equation you got the idea what I'm trying to explain. So actually you are dividing 20 by 3, and the remainder number uh, will be extracted through this function, mode function. Should I move on? I hope it's clear now.
G. Thank you.
So, okay, so what is rand function? Rand function is the function is applied when you need random numbers for any experiment, for any, kind of uh, calculations. For example, I just simply mention rand and I start the bracket, I close the bracket. There is no reference, there is no number in this function. So I press OK. So you see, if I drag it up to 1,000 cells, so it will give me a random value. But remember that the property of this rand function is it always remain between 0 to 1. The answer will be in, point in decimals. It will not give you a whole number, rand function. So if you click on this and drag it up to 100,000, it will give you a different value. But if you don't fix it, every time you click here, the answer will be changed. For example, you focus on these numbers, which what I have already, generated through the rand function. And if I press something here besides this, any number, so you will see the whole series will be changed. If you keep pressing, if you keep entering any number, the whole series will be changed. So what is the solution? This is actually a process or a way of, a working of rand function. So every time you will be mentioning, you will be clicking around, this whole series will be, changing automatically. So how to fix it? There is a, one simple function. Copy all this range that you have generated from a rand function using rand function. Copy this whole range and paste as value. Now this for these numbers will be fixed. I'm just copying the whole selection, whole selected, numbers, all the selection, and I'm just pasting it as value on in the same column. Now, if you notice in the formula bar, there is no more rand function, rand formula there. These are just the values, and you can use it for your further calculation. So this is how you perform this rand function. But there is another thing. Let's say I want to create random numbers, thousands of numbers, a series of random number, and there is an option. I can give a range for random numbers. I can ask Excel to give me random number between 100 to 200, or maybe between 100 to 1000. Any number range you can give to this, uh, Excel. For example, rand between is the command where you give the range. Now the answer is different. So you need to give two values, bottom and top. So for example, there are two values mentioned. I give reference here, not entering the value itself. And with comma, I mention the top value. I give the range and I click here. You see there is a random number generated by this other command, rand between. So if I drag it down, so you see if I drag it to 100 numbers, so why it didn't work? Because I did not mention the, I gave the reference. That's why it didn't calculate it anymore. So let me apply and by other way, for example, rand between, and I give the range from 50 to 500, another range. And you notice that as I click here, so every cell has a different number, but no number will be greater than 500 because I have mentioned the range here, 50 to 500. So if sometimes you require to generate numbers for other calculations and the numbers are in thousands or hundred, you can simply use this rand between command and you can save your time. It can calculate a minus value as well. It can calculate zero, any number you give here. So here is the round function. So round function does what? You mention any number with decimals, and this round function will turn your decimals into the next or previous number. For example, we have two different numbers there, 500.51 and comma 1, and we see what happens. For example, round number is what? 500.51 and 1. So you see what happened? 500.5. actually it rounded off the second number, this 1 into 5. So let me do another experiment. Round 500.55, minor change, and 1. And we see what happens. You see, there is a minor difference between these two numbers, 5, 1 and 5, 5. So it converted the number into next number, 500.6. Actually, it turned off the one digit, as it is a part of the formula, number digits, how many numbers you want to convert into round number. So that's answer. So one more, for example, if I mention a round like this, round function 500.55, but this time I'm not giving a digit like 1. I'm mentioning 0, which means I don't want to convert this third number into any decimal. I just want to round off the whole number, 500.55, the same as above, but with 0 number. So you see, it turned 500.55 into 501. So this way you can turn off your round off your numbers. So let's say the just last example, if I mention here 45, so we see what happens. This value after the decimal is less than 5. So we see what happens, 500. When this value goes above the 50, so it will be turning off to the next number. You see 501. But if we mention it like this, 41, so it's now below 50, so answer will be like this. So I just take 1 minute break. After Azan, I'll be back. Okay, so we are on the sum function now. Sum function is very easy and very commonly used. So there are two ways you can add these values. For example, you mention sum command here, and you can select all these numbers like this. Again, you can select the range from A2 to A4. Simply close a bracket and the answer is there. But there is another way. So you can mention values like this, sum, and you can select these two numbers. And let's say there is a range of numbers, a series of numbers, and you want to skip few numbers and you want to add another number after that. So you can give another number like by pressing comma and give another number separately. So you see in this formula type, we actually divided the range. First, we selected two numbers by the range, and then we pressed comma and selected another number. So we can do in other way like this. If you select sum, you select these two number, and another value is like any other number which is other than the reference cell you want to mention, like 78. you edit these two numbers by a selected range and reference cells, and then you press comma, and you want to add any other number like 778, like 98, maybe 100 different values, and you select enter, and the answer is like this. So you can break down the formula by different scenarios. So I hope you got the idea how some function performs. Some average, you can perform this function in the similar way. So what is sum if function? Actually, this is, a logical, kind of logical formula. Sum if, remember, wherever you see if command, it means there is some logic is being applied on this formula. So we have an example here, like these are the names of the, you can say salesperson or any person, Ali, Abdullah, Osman Ali, and these are the numbers. And you want to calculate numbers, by applying some logic. For example, you apply sum if formula, and you start with this, bracket sign, and you select all range like this. But now you are applying a logic as well. What is the logic? So when you mentioned if, so the structure of the or composition of the formula changed now. Click comma. Now you have to give the criteria. So what is the criteria? So you say from the selected numbers, give me the sum of numbers greater than 200. So you see the first logic. Mention here the greater than sign and 200, and mention the inverted comma, close the bracket. So you actually mentioned greater than 200. Click here. So the answer is 1100. So what happened? You selected the range. The actual answer is 1400, but you mentioned the condition, give me sum of all those numbers which are greater than 200. So this skipped first two numbers and added the second two and the last two numbers, 700 and 400. So you can apply another logic. Sum if you say, give me add all those value which belongs to Ali and give me the number, give me the answer. So you selected this range and other type of criteria for sum if function. So criteria is Ali. So any logic you are applying in terms of numbers or in terms of name, so you will be mentioning in inverted commas, Ali. So I'm asking Excel to give me the sum of all those number which belongs to Ali. So again, press comma, and now you will be selecting this range, B2 to B5. So we have selected both portions, both, type of values in the formula with inverted comma portion, and the answer is here. So you see, if I select this one value and the second value belongs to Ali, the answer will be 8. You can see at the bottom, and also you can calculate from here. 700 plus 100, the answer is 800. So there is another logic, the last logic for this sheet. Sum if you want to calculate any two or three values with a single character, you can apply this condition as well. Let's say I want to add all those values. I want to add those two or those values which belongs to any name, and the name contains S, a character S. So how you can perform this? Again, you selected the name and you giving the instruction to Excel. This select all those value with the name which contains S character in the name. So let's say S will be, mentioned like with this steric sign S, because we are not giving a word, we are giving a character. So that's why we have to add steric before S and after S, and close this with inverted comma, and select this range. So you notice that this answer is 400. Three different answers for three different conditions for a sum if function. So you see 400. How this calculated? because if there is only one name out of these four names, there is only one name which has S character. Otherwise, remaining two names uh, don't have this, S character in the name. So it calculated for Usman. So you can see the answer is the same. So you can apply different conditions by for this sum if function. So I'm using this sum product formula. Actually, why we use this sum product? Basically, this formula gives you the answer by multiplying all these numbers and then calculating and then summing up all the values. Um, that's why we call it sum product function. So actually, at the same time, it's multiplying each value with the next value, and at the same time, it's applying summation on the answer as well. So if we apply this sum product formula, I'll tell you how it works. Let me perform this first. So what you're doing now, actually you are selecting these two columns as first portion of the formula. So what this formula will do, this will multiply 1 with 5, 2 with 6, 3 with 7, 4 with 8. And also it will, add these values. So now in the second range, I'll be selecting these numbers B column and C column as a second component. So you see what happens. The answer is like this. And if you see the formula working here, you can see it's actually applying 1 into 5 plus 2 into 3 plus in 7 into 4 and like this. And if you want to verify whether it worked properly or not, so let me double check. So what I'm doing, 1 with this, and we are dragging these numbers like this, and this is column A, and now in the second portion, I will multiplying this number with 10. So actually, in the first column, we multiply A with B. Now we are multiplying B with C. And if you drag it here, you have calculated these two columns like manually. And if you select all these numbers, the answer is the same 374 and 374. So this way you can apply this sum product formula. So we are done with this mathematical portion. I hope you are not getting bored, although it's dry, but we are learning. So I'm closing this file for math formula. I'm not saving it, but I'll share with you. If you need 5 minutes break before starting the next section, which is statistical part, statistical formulas, let me know. We can take 5 minutes break. Otherwise, we can carry on. So let me know, please. Need break?
Yeah, we can take break. It's better.
Okay. So 5 minutes break. I'll be back at 9 sharp. Hello everyone. I hope you are fresh now after 5 minutes break. So we are now starting another type of formula, which is called stats formula. So sorry. The pattern is the same as some formula. We will be not spending more time on this. So for example, if you want to calculate average of any numbers, so you'll be simply mentioning average, and by pressing tab button, you'll be, starting the formula structure, composition. Now there are two ways. Either you can select the entire range like this and close a bracket. The formula will be, calculating the numbers. So 9.25. You can add an additional number in the range like average, and you pick these numbers, and you can mention any other number in manually like 45 or 85 or any other number. So you see, we given the references and we added a number manually. So if you if you take average of first three numbers, what will happen? Actually, this should have been here. This answer should be here in this range because we selected the entire range. If you select these numbers only, first three numbers, the answer will be like this. Uh, okay, so you see 12.33. So why there is a difference between this number and this number? If you add any blank cells in the average formula, so what will be the result? Sorry, now we are selecting this number, and also we are adding a blank cell in the number. There is no value, and we want to check whether this affects average or not. So there is no, effect of this blank cells, but there is an effect of this zero in the average value, because average add all the values, given values, and divide by the total number of values. So for example, in this range, we have total 4 values, including 0. We will be dividing the sum of these numbers by 4 because 0 itself is a value. So the answer will be less like this. So this is a composition of average formula, or the answer of the average formula. So three different scenarios, three different answers, you know. So average is the same. We will be just applying, this condition only, first condition, because we have checked all the similar condition in sum if function. Let's say if you want to find average function with if command, which is third number, average if, and you apply some condition as well. Let's say you select these numbers. Abdullah is repeating in 3 times, and I want to get average of all numbers belong to Abdullah. So what I'll be doing, I'll be mentioning Abdullah with correct spelling as mentioned in the file, with the, inverted commas, and I'm mentioning here the other range, the number range. So you see, we have selected both ranges, name range and number range, with Abdullah name in inverted comma, and we check what is the answer. So answer is there. So if you want to double check whether the answer is true or not, simply select these values: first, second, third. So if you see at the bottom, average, the answer is the same as it's mentioned here. So the rest we have already tried in sum if function, so we will not be spending time on this. So there is another type of command which is count function. So count does what? Count gives you the number of, totals values, the number you selected or you mentioned in the range. Count will count those numbers, those values on. For example, we have a mixed type of information in this range. So there are two numbers, 1, 2. There is a blank cell, there is a text, there is a error value, there is a date value. So we will see what happens when we select all these values. For example, if we apply this count command on these functions, if we select these values like up to fixed, including blank value, including text value, including error value. So we will check what answer will be given. 2. So what happened? Excel did not consider these as value. Although there is a text, there is a error value. Excel did not accepted these as as a number. So what if we uh, drag this range up to this last number where there is a date? So what will happen if we add this date also in the range? So what will be the answer? The answer will be 3, because this date itself is a number at the back end. I think I mentioned earlier when we were working on this, date, different number formats things. If you want to check what is the number behind this date, just click on this, go to this format cell and go to this journal category. You will see there is a number behind this date. So date is another type of format of a serial number actually. So behind every date, you will see a serial number, which is Excel generated a serial number in sequence. So this Excel will consider this date as a number when it will be counting some things. So we counted this range, and the answer is 3. These 3 cells were skipped. So what this command gives you, for example, if you mention count A, so there are different type of commands: count if, count A, count black. We'll be checking few. So let's say if I mention count A, what is what it will give you back. So for example, if you mention like this, so basically this count will be uh, out of this range. Count A will give you the answer of all the cell which has any text, any value in that. In other words, this will skip blank value only and gives you the rest of the numbers. So this count A command included this text and this error value. So if you see the comments here, counts the cell that are not empty. So out of these 5 selected cell, all 4 cells have some values, some text, any kind of text, and one is empty. So it skipped the empty and mentioned the rest of the numbers. So what is count blank? It will give you the answer if you have a long series of numbers in your data set and you want to check how many cells are blank in my 1 column or 2 column or 3 columns. So count blank. The third command, you will be selecting the entire range, for example, and it will give you the answer as 1, because it it mentioned like this cell is empty. So when you given this command count blank, so it returned 1 because there is one cell is blank. So moving forward, there is a count if command, count if, average if, sum if is the same. We will be applying just one example here. For example, you want to count all those value which has Apple word in the range. For example, if we go to this, the rest we are not applying because the same condition we have already done. So count if command, count only those value which contains Apple name in the value in the name. Count if. So there is a range, names are there and values are there, but in between the two ranges you have to mention sorry, that's another thing. So we'll be picking any term which is mentioned in the words. So let's say count if you have a big range of numbers or names. So you select all this range, comma, you mention the condition. Count if, sorry again, count if, range and criteria. This is the range, this is the criteria, apple. And it will give you 2 because we know that there are two values, two cells where apple is mentioned. So it gives you the same answer. So large and small, these are two different things. Basically, when you are working on a big data set, so you can find the large value or the small values from the big data set using these commands. For example, but there is a condition kth large value, not exactly the maximum a bigger number, but you can mention which level of large value you need for your work. So for example, I mentioned large. So you see there are the two cells blank and the random values are mentioned in this example. So I say, give me the large value from here, like A2 to A4. And there is a one more condition like K, which large value you need. So for example, if I mention 1 here, so it means I need the maximum or the largest value in the range. So the answer will be 7. For example, if I increase the range, if I extend the range to this number, and I again mention the kth value as 1, so the answer will be changed. Now it's giving me 9. We know that 9 is the largest value in this range. Okay. And why 9? Because we mentioned first. If we change this 1 to any other value, let's say I mentioned 2, so the kth mean, you can see this in kth value in the description at the right side. So the kth mean you change the level, you change the preference from for this range. So I need the second largest value, not the first largest value, and the answer will be 7. I hope you got it. So in the first experiment, we found the first largest value. In the second experiment, if we mention here and we change this kth into 2, it means we need the second largest value. What if we need the third largest value? I'll be just copying this and I'm placing here. So let me, mention it quickly. So I need the third largest value. I will change the k with a 3. So from this whole range, I need the third largest value. So the answer is 5. So I hope you got the idea how this large command works. So you can change the preference for this command. Similarly, small is the same. You need the smallest value, mention small, and you will select the range. You mention 1. It means you need the smallest value from the range. So the answer is 1. If you change your preference, you say, I need the second smallest value. You see the answer is 7. So what happened actually when I shifted, I copied the cell from the above line. So actually it changed the range. So I'm giving the range. So actually the second smallest value should be 5. So you see the formula. Now I'm asking for the second smallest value. The answer should be 5. So this way it works large and small. So maximum, very easy. I hope you must be familiar. This very easy and commonly used command. If you have a big data set and you want to know what is the maximum value in column A or column B or column C, simply you apply this command. The easiest command, I guess, maximum, give the range, and it will return you the maximum value in this range. So what is the difference between large and maximum? Remember that in large, you have kth value. You can give the preference, but in the maximum, there is no preference. It will return you the maximum value, maximum number. So similarly, if you go to this minimum, so the same thing is here. For example, you give this range minimum 4 self up to 4, or let's say three numbers, the minimum number is there. But what if we add this error as well? So what will be happen? So for example, minimum number, now we have a blank cell and an error value also. So how it will be responding? So you see, when you are calculating minimum or maximum and there is some arrow in the range in the entire column, so the answer will be like this. So it will not perform, it will not calculate or process this value, the error value. So similarly, if we check this, the last example, we are including one blank value, one error, and there is a large one more value in this. So the answer will be the same. If there is any error, it will not respond. So we are done with this, statistical part as well. I hope you got some, idea how these commands work. I'm closing this file and I'm moving on to the next file, text formula. This is the last file for today's class. We will be, concluding the session after completing this section. I'm sorry for the noise at the background. So these text commands are very useful. It helps a lot when you are working on a data sets, because every data sets has some names, some text related information. Sometimes you need to work on text side. So how you can handle this, text portion. And these all commands are related to text. So we will try to complete this quickly. So for example, there is a left, right, mid, length, these kind of commands. Left means you want to extract something from the left side. You want to extract something from the left side. So for example, I mentioned left. So left, right are the similar commands. Either you will be trimming something from the right side, either you'll be picking something from the mid side, middle of the text, or left side. So as you mentioned left, so there are two portions in this formula. So you can mention hello like this. You can pick this word like with the reference, or you can in manually mention hello with inverted comma. It's up to you. The answer will be the same. So you say you pick this word and you ask Excel to give me the left two characters. So you see it extracted HE from this hello because we mentioned these two. So let's say if we mention anything like this is the same example actually. Let me check how it will be working. If you mention this left and there is, you don't mention the remaining part, the numbers you want to extract. So by this command, if you just mention the word by reference like this, we just mention the command and give the word by reference cell. So it extracted the first letter only because you did not mention how many numbers you want to extract. So it automatically picked only first character. So H is the extracted from here. Similarly, right command works all the same way. So if you want to extract something from the right side with a specific number, you can mention right and you can give the reference like this, hello, and you can mention two or three words, three characters. You want to pick last three characters by this command, right? So you see from hello, double L O is picked. So similarly, if you don't mention any number of at the second portion of the formula, so how it will work, right? And hello, the reference cell, and you close it and you don't mention the number of characters, and the last character will be picked from this command. So left right is very easy. How mid command works? So for example, there is a word mentioned amazing Excel. This is a word and I want to pick something from the middle of the word. Sometimes it is required when you're working on big data sets. For example, there are some name of the products, there are some addresses is given, some product ID is given, and you want to pick middle text of the whole word. for any kind of experiment, for any labeling or something. So this command will work there. So for example, you mentioned mid command. So this will work in another way. So you see there are three portions. So first you have to mention the reference, hello or amazing Excel or anything. And you start with this, you mention the comma, the start number. So Excel does not know which middle number you want to pick and from where you want to pick. So you need to mention the middle number from where you want to pick the text. So let's say you say start picking the text from the third character. So this is a starting character, press comma, and Excel is asking in the third portion of the formula, how, sorry, how many characters? 10, 5, 3, 4, how many characters? So I ask Excel to pick 4 characters starting from the third from this word. So see what happens. AZIN. So Amazing Excel, from Amazing Excel, the complete word, it picked 4 characters because I given the instruction in this way. So let's say I change this example. I mention something manually. Let's say I ask Excel for mid command. Let's say I mention the word in inverted comma. Let's say runway, and I ask Excel to start picking the characters from the second character and give me 2 characters only. So we are picking some characters from the mid. So you see runway. So the answer is right. So actually it picked this portion of the word runway, only 2 characters starting from the second number. So this way you can find any a number. So this hello command works in this way. This gives you the actual number of characters of your word. So for example, if you have a big name and you want to count the characters for any kind of experiment or for any kind of calculations to be performed, so you can check the length of that word instead of calculating one by one. You can use this command. So let's say the length formula is there. You only need to mention the word either in inverted comma or give the reference. It's up to you. So mention this, pick this hello from this cell and mention like this. So hello, there are 5 characters. So for example, I mention and other words out of this range because there are some examples mentioned. So let's say I mention length and I say inverted comma I mentioned in inverted comma impossible. I guess the spelling are the same. So there are 10 characters. So you can mention anything. You can check the length of the word by this formula. So there are some other examples. Quickly we will be performing these examples. Almost 6 minutes left. So let's say you want to convert a capital word into small. So there is a way. So sometimes you have a data file with the including name of all the participants or all the customers in capital words. So there is a command. You can use this command to convert the capital word into a lower word. So lower. So example is there, hello. So we just pick the word and this command will convert into return into lower text type. So there is another word proper. For example, if there is a text which has a mixed pattern, like there is some character is big, some character is small, like these examples are there. Amazing Excel, f.aslam, it's awesome. So you can perform this function here. So this proper command convert your text in appropriate way. So for example, if I mention these examples here, proper by this proper command, sorry, proper. So the command is here and I give this reference here. So you see Amazing Excel, which was actually not in an appropriate way. So Amazing Excel is there. So similarly, if I mention proper for the second type of word proper, it's awesome. I think the characters are not appropriately mentioned here. So it's now like this, but you have to, mention, you need to convert S again for this kind of experiment. So there is an upper command as well. If the words or names in your database all mention in, in small ABC, so you can convert it into upper, uh, into capital, into by using this command. For example, upper is used for converting the text into, I'm sorry, upper, and just give the reference here. And the word is now mentioned in the, capital ABC. So 3 commands left. We will be, completing this replace. So how does this command work? So sometimes you have a big word, big email ID, and you want to replace some characters from that word. And there is a big data set. You cannot perform this replacement one by one in all cells. So there is a replacement command. So for example, I want to replace this first, this word. I want to replace few characters from this big word, and by using this command, replace is the command name, obviously for text. So there is a, word which is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, whatever. So I want to replace from character number 5. So this formula is guiding itself as well. Start number. Give the number where you want to start the replacement. 5th. And how many characters you want to replace? 4. So it's some like it's almost the same like middle command up till here. So you giving the starting point, you're giving the numbers you want to, number of characters you want to replace, and with what, let's say you give the replacement as well. You say replace these words what I have mentioned, these characters with hash sign, for example, and see how it works. So you see it picked from the 5th character as mentioned in the formula, starting from the 5th character, and I asked replace 4 characters with this hash sign. So let's say if I mention hash 3 times or 4 times, so see what happens. You see it replaced the middle of the text with hash sign, and I mentioned hash sign 4 times. So it also appeared 4 times here. So I hope you understand this replacement command. You can check it, you can apply it on your, different kind of words related data. So what is substitute? So substitute is something which substitutes existing text with the new specific text in a text string. So let me perform it and you will understand. So for example, there are 2 examples here, A, B, C, D, different kind of characters are there, obviously not organized. So you mention this substitute command here, and you give the reference A, B, C, D, E. And in this command, you are giving, a new old text is mentioned already. Text is there. So you say reference is there. So you want to substitute some available or existing text with some other text. So for example, I mentioned here in A in inverted comma. What I want, I'm saying that replace A from this word which is actually being repeated several times. But I also put some limitation here. I say convert this A character with capital Z for how many times? One time only. So if you notice, the A is being repeated multiple times. A 1, 2, 3 times. but I'm putting some restriction as well in this substitute command. I'm saying that replace A with capital Z, with which A, the first number. I'm mentioning here the condition as well. I'm putting some restriction as well, some limitation as well. I'm saying that the first A should be replaced with Z, not all the A's in this word. So that's why there is a difference between substitute and replacement. In replacement, all the values will be changed, old text with the new text, but here you will see we have put some restriction. The first A is replaced, the remaining A's are there. The last command, and the time is over as well. So if there is some values like this and you want to mention something with some text with some numbers, so there is a text command. How it works, for example, so let's say there is a example is like this, A2, some is their name is mentioned, and I want to add some text with this word using this text command. Let's say I mention A to the reference, and I mention and I mentioned actually I want to add our sentence or words with this given set number with this given text. It sale of and inverted comma and text B2. Actually B2 can be any number. So let me add this, and we are putting some, this is some, complicated text format. So the answer is like this. For if we mention some values like here, let's say 2000. So what will be the answer? So this part was missing. We added a word or statement by this text command using this information, Abdullah 2000, and we added a sentence here. So for example, the last example, and then we close it. For example, if we mention text and we say B2 and we convert into like this 0.00 and we add like this. So what happened? There is a value. We converted this value into text by using this command. So we added two decimals by inverted commas, and the number is converted into decimals like this. So if you think it's complicated, no problem. We can work on it later, or you can understand it later on. So from my side, these examples are covered. The section is completed, and I hope you got some idea of text commands. And from my side, it's over. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we conclude this session. Thank you. So any question or? Okay. So I think no question. So sorry, Nadia.
Ji, Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to say that is it possible that in the next class we discuss the issues if we find any, because I think we all need to see this video again and then understand it. And if we find any question, then we can ask in the next class.
Sure, I would be happy to respond. So let me complete the formula section first. We have half of the portion in the next class. So let me complete all the sections. And obviously, I'm always happy to respond if there is any question. So if you find any difficulties, we can discuss it in the next class or maybe after the assignment. I will be giving you the assignment for this portion as well. So you can practice, you can work on it, and if you feel any difficulty, you can discuss with me.
Okay, thank you so much.
So thank you, everyone. I'm signing off. Inshallah,
Thank
see
you.
you in the next class.
Inshallah,
Thank you.
yes.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum.